Is that not where the disciplinary committee comes in for? I think the NBA has that.
Well, since the coming into office of the Chief Justice of Nigeria, I can say that the disciplinary committee has been doing a wonderful job. The NJC has been trying within the limits of the environment. Now, the Chief Justice has done a lot of good. I mean, the last time something was ever done, incidentally, quite curiously, ironically, was under Abacha regime, when some judges were actually shown the way out of the system. Based on the Justice Kayode Esho report, some judges were sacked under Abacha regime. They were outrightly corrupt. Anybody could see that. But since the coming into, I mean, as soon as the current Chief Justice of Nigeria came on board, I mean, 2 or 3 judges were dismissed. 2 judges were dismissed. One was given stern warning. One voluntarily retired and became a traditional ruler instead of facing the onslaught of investigation. That was because the Chief Justice of Nigeria showed them that, well, it's not going to be business as usual. And, I mean, some, what's called election petition tribunal chairman, they've also faced sanctions.
I think, sorry, let me key this in. Let me get you a quote here so that you can tell us what essence is this whole move. She said, now more than ever, the public has become more critical of the conduct of judicial staff. And she goes on to say, well, conduct of judicial staff like leakage of judgments before delivery.
Wow. That is the height of it.
But you heard about that before?
Oh, yeah. Oh, that had happened. I mean, years back, who said it? A situation where the political party leaders, they actually tell their supporters, they send messages to their supporters that this is what the decision will be tomorrow. Get all the drums.
Go and prepare.
They send messages to their supporters. Get ready, get the drum people, get the people who blow the what's it called now, trumpets.
Because
they're ready.
Because
suddenly the judgment is there.
Before.
There's a whole band of people celebrating. How would, before it's so sacrosanct, even you, the lawyer that argued it, you can't be too sure that, oh, this, you can only say I've done my bit. And somebody said it, that, was it Justice Kayode Esho who said it, that political leaders now send messages ahead of time that this is the decision. And I spoke with a former Attorney General of a state. Unfortunately, we can't say too much on air. But I spoke with a former Attorney General we were schoolmates in Ife. And it was a governorship election tribunal matter. And we were gisting, and he said, oh, we're going to lose. I said, how can you say that? You that you are in power, you will lose. He said, yes, we're going to lose this case in court. In fact, I am very sure we are losing. I said, why would you say that? He said, because the other people, by the time we got to the person that mattered, he asked us, what are we going to put on the table? And we said, well, if we have to, we said, well, what we have is like 3 months' salaries of the whole state workers. And that's all we have. I said, well, you can't get this because the other side has brought something much more than that. And that is obvious that we can't get it. And you are joking. And the judgment was against the incumbent governor. And he told me ahead of time. This is somebody very close. He was in government and, in a state. And I was shocked. Even though it was against him, how did he get to know? Mm-hmm. Why would you know the outcome of proceedings in court beforehand?
And this was unthinkable
some years back. I still marvel how that happens. So it's something that happens regularly. Recently I'm involved in a matter, and my colleague on the other side told me that, but for the fact that you threw spanners, we were expecting that we will get this ruling in our favor on that day, but for the rubbish that you filed.
But again, sorry.
Okay. I'm sorry, Sulaiman. I'm just wondering, though. You say that we are doing some work, or that the Chief Justice is doing some work in respect of that. She said that she made it her mission.
Yes.
Judicial reforms was going to be her mission. I don't want to believe that it's just in the area of corruption. Yes, it is a critical aspect of it. And even though a lot of people will put a question mark as to how far we've gone, what are the areas that are getting attention? Because as far as justice and the common man is concerned, it would seem that they're still a long way off from each other.
Honestly, we are so far away from each other. It's just that it's a process. I mean, the Chief Justice of Nigeria has come on board. She started from somewhere. She can't clean up this audience table during her tenure. It's not possible. I think she's leaving at the end of the year, if I'm right. She started a process. The question is, will the next person coming on board continue with this process? Now, we are all aware, I mean, it's not something you can prove, but that there was a lot that went into even getting her to get into that position. That the forces, you see, corruption fights. Corruption and poverty, they work hand in hand. And so those are the two most difficult problems to contend with in any society. Poverty, it refuses to go away. One generation may surmount it. It doesn't mean the next generation will not face poverty. The same thing for corruption. Because the people who benefit from corrupt practices, they are usually very wealthy in the society. They wield a lot of power. Now, there was a time this CJN was to be posted on an agreement between Nigeria and Gambia or so, to go and become the Chief Justice in the Gambia, just so that she doesn't come into position.
But how do we institutionalize some of these measures? Because yes, we're depending a great deal, or fight against corruption depends a great deal on the will of the person who is, currently occupying position to fight it.
Yeah.
But what measures have we put in place that would ensure that, okay, it's going to make it the person who's coming in will have no choice than to continue with some of the things that have been put in place?
Unfortunately, I don't see any measures that will help in institutionalizing some of the things the CJN has done during this tenure. I don't see them. They are off the cuff. They are just like the executive, the president. A president does something about power generation, he leaves, the next president cancels everything, starts all over again. It's about prioritization. So the new CJN, any CJN that comes in, let us just hope that they have the same perspective. Let us just hope that they belong on the same page. Otherwise, there is no institutionalizing anything.
But do you think, is it possible to put some of those measures in institutions?
It is absolutely possible.
What will we be looking to see?
First of all, you see, unless and until, for instance, there was an issue that the ICPC chairman, I mean, it was in the press, that the ICPC chairman said something is not corruption. I can't remember what that is. Is it stealing is not corruption or bribery is not corruption? I can't remember. And there was a lot of controversy about that. That's ICPC. That's the body that should look into misconduct on the part of people in public service, which probably will include judges. Now, you see, you have an Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. Now, there has to be a sort of, I think Justice Kayode Esho said something. I may not use the same nomenclature, but a Judicial Performance Commission. A commission that will be there. You see, at the moment, NJC is overwhelmed. Series of petitions from here and there. And you see, the NJC, there is a lot of hue and cry about the compromise of the NJC itself. That people, somebody is on the board. Now, because the NJC is fighting corruption in its own way, I mean, the people who benefit from these practices, they will fight NJC. So the NJC ordinarily must be above board. Now, some people will say, oh, well, you can always criticize judges and all that. I appreciate that point that, yes, judges can't talk like I am talking. Judges cannot defend themselves in public. You see, the moment you subscribe to that oath to dispense justice, you curtail your own freedom as a judge. I don't ever want to become a judge because I don't think I can measure up to the standard that is required internationally. Now, you tell people, oh, freedom of expression, freedom of movement. When a judge becomes a judge, he's no longer that free to express himself. He's no longer that free to move around. I don't want to move away from my old friends, childhood friends. Some judges, by their oath of office, it's not as if they signed it like that, but you just have to move away.
But some don't.
Some don't. corruption thing is not about collecting bribe. Compromise can come in different ways. Compromise can come through a spouse, through a child, through an old friend, through anybody. Institutionalizing it entails setting up a commission on its own that beams the torchlight fully on judges. There's a lot of quarrel between judges and EFCC. And the EFCC, despite the fact that they operate under special powers, as has been upheld by the Court of Appeal, that, look, they have special powers, they are always so reluctant to to investigate judges.
Why do you think that is the case?
I guess it's our attitude to life. You see, before I became a lawyer, one of the attractions was, you look at a magistrate and a judge, and you see somebody that is heavenly, somebody that is not a mere mortal, somebody that is not does not operate within the same realm like you and I, and you are so, you want to say, oh, I cannot, this person is untouchable. But these days, you see a lot of things happening that negate all those perceptions we used to have. And that is why we have this hue and cry. You cannot imagine a situation where, for instance, there's a judicial proceeding going on and thugs would invade a courtroom. You cannot imagine a situation before where people will be threatening that they will bomb High Court of Lagos State because the probate judge is not signing things. So, respect begets respect. Suddenly, people who should not, and I fear for the day and time when Nigerians will totally lose respect for the judiciary and they will start invading the court. Judgment will begin from the court.
We'll have to let it go there. Thank you for coming. And John Oloyede is a legal practitioner. We'll be back. We've got another perspective on this same matter. Join us again.